Let's talk weekly scheduling. Do you feel like you have a system that works for you? I have tried a lot of different systems using a lot of planners and a lot of different methods. And quite frankly, I am a sort of go with the flow type of person. And yet I know that because I go with the flow, I don't achieve things with as much ease as I could if I followed structured systems that allow me to flow within them. So, in this exercise, I'm going to walk you through step by step a weekly scheduling technique. There's going to be opportunity for you to do this along with me, and I am going to ask that you pause the recording during certain sections so that you can do the assignment and then press play again when it's time to join again. You'll understand, it'll make sense as we go through it. This is a process that once you get used to it, can take approximately 30 minutes of your week. I do an extra little bit at the beginning of it that I'm not sharing here in full, but I'll reference it, that adds another like 15 minutes to your process. It's 15 minutes well spent and it feels good. And the 30 minutes, when you first do it, it might take an hour. So I suggest that you give yourself about an hour to do this. An hour. I know you're saying, who has an hour every week to do scheduling? Well, if you use this hour every week and use this method, you will save yourself a lot of time and you will get things done more efficiently, more smoothly, with more ease. It'll feel better, it'll feel aligned, and it is definitely an hour well spent. So, on that note, let's grab a pen and a paper. Grab whatever calendar system you use to keep track of your appointments. If you don't have one, that's fine because we're going to start from a clean slate regardless. But anything that you would need to make sure that you're not missing anything in your schedule for the next 7 days, grab that. And, meet me back here once you have that. All right, so the first step is to brain dump all of the things that are on your to-do list for a week. And this is any appointments that you have for yourself or for people in your family that you need to maintain. This is any like tasks that you have to do for your business. This is any tasks that you have to do for work. This is any self-care routines that you have. These are people who you need to follow up with. These are emails that you need to write. These are phone calls that you need to make. These are places you need to travel to. It's literally everything you can think of. Now, I'm not talking about the little things like brush your teeth. That is hopefully an automatic thing that you do that you don't need to actually physically put into your calendar. But if it's something that you're focusing on, add on brushing your teeth times 7 times. So you're literally going to brain dump. And what I suggest for ease is that if it helps for you to categorize things, start categorizing things now. So for example, the category of follow-ups. If you have 5 to 10 people who you need to follow up with, put them together under the follow-up category. If you have medical appointments, put those together. If you have work commitments, put those together. If you have things that you get to do for your family, put those together. It'll make it easier for you to go through the list later. So I'd like you to take probably 10 to 15 minutes to release all of this stuff onto a piece of paper. You don't need to use the categorized system if you're more of a just like throw it and see where it sticks type of person. It's fine. It might take you a couple extra minutes later to go through things, but it's totally okay. However this works for you, do it. But the point is to not miss anything. Now, if you already have things in your calendar, let's say that you use your phone or a Google Calendar or a planner. I totally just lost my lighting, so we're going to have to deal with that. Say that you use some sort of scheduling system and you already have things there. Totally fine that it's already there. I still want you to write it on this piece of paper. So literally everything goes on this piece of paper. You might need a big piece of paper. All right, let's get started. I am going to ask you to pause the recording while you do this and then come back once you've got everything on your paper. Welcome back. So now that you have your brain dump of all the things that you have to do, I would like you to ask yourself, have I put in any of my daily routine things? Now, I talked about how toothbrushing doesn't necessarily belong on here, but let's say that you have a morning routine that includes movement, meditation, morning pages. That's my morning routine. Is that on your list? If it's not, if the things that you would love to check off to make you a more fulfilled version of yourself do not appear on this list, I'd like you to take another 5 minutes now and add them on. So pause the video, add those things onto your giant brain dump of a list, and then come back to me. All right, welcome back. Or maybe you never left because you already intuitively had all of your daily routine things on your list. Go you. If you did not and you paused, thank you for doing that. And now we're going to move on to the next step, which is going to be a very quick task. So do not overthink this. We're going with our emotions here. Yeah, it might feel a little woo-woo, a little like, what do you mean I'm going with my emotions here? Give it a try. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through every item on your list. And if it feels at all icky, like, oh, why do I have to do this? Or I'm really not looking forward to this. Or why can't somebody else do this for me? I want you to put a star next to it. So literally every single item, read it through, ask yourself, does this feel icky? If it does, put a star. So pause the video. This should take you even if you have 50 items on your list, this should take no more than 2 minutes. So read quickly. You don't even need to read the whole item. You'll know right away if this feels like something that like you really wish you didn't have to do. So put a star next to those items. Pause this video while you do this task and then come back. Okay, now that you have the stars next to your items, you're going to go through and you're going to mark all of the items that absolutely have to happen in the next 3 days. And you can mark those by highlighting them if you're like a highlighter person, or you can just put a dot next to them. This goes next to all of the items. So again, you're reading through your entire list, even the things that have stars, if they need to happen in the next 3 days, you also put a dot or highlight them. So this should take another 2 to 3 minutes, even with the most massive list, because you know if it has to be done in the next 3 days. So take a moment, pause the video, go through your list, and highlight or mark with a dot or a bullet or whatever the things that need to happen in the next 3 days. Okay, now go and look at your list. I know we're spending a lot of time with this list, but you're going to look at your list, and anything that has a dot or is highlighted that does not have a star next to it, I want you to immediately schedule it into your calendar. So basically, that means it needs to happen in the next 3 days, and you feel some sense of joy or fulfillment around this task. Hopefully, that's quite a few things, but not too many things to have you feeling overwhelmed. This should take maximum 10 minutes. Maybe you need to move things around. Now, this is where you might ask me what kind of scheduling system I use. I used to be a paper planner person. I'm not really anymore. I'm on my phone all the time. I also like the added accountability of alerts for things. So I put everything into my Apple Calendar. Some people use a Google Calendar. I like my Apple Calendar because I use an iPhone, and I put alerts to everything, depending on what the task is, how likely I am to forget that I have to do this thing, or whatever your guidance is telling you you need. Sometimes I put 2 alerts. If it's something that happens every week, I already have it in my calendar with a weekly repeat on it. So that goes for daily habits. I also, when I first started out building my morning routine, I put that into my calendar until it became a habit for me. And now it's automatic, so it's not into my daily calendar, but it is on my evergreen note in my phone that I fill out the night before with, like, I look at my calendar and we're getting steps ahead. But here's a little bonus for you. I look at my calendar the night before, and I have an evening check-in with myself where I write down all of the things in a note on my phone that I have to do tomorrow. There are things that appear on that note every single day: movement, meditation, morning pages, posts on social media, and read. 5 things that I like to achieve every single day. And then as I achieve them throughout the day, I put a little check mark next to them and it feels great. So that's a little bonus. But what you're doing right now, to get back to the point, is go through your list, and anything that is highlighted or has a dot that does not have a star goes straight into your calendar for the next 3 days. So take 3 to 5 minutes and get this done, and then come back to me. All right, so you've put the dots in the highlighted items, and now we're going to look at the stars. So first, I want you to take a deep breath. There is a chance that there are a lot of stars on your piece of paper, and you're like, oh man, what am I supposed to do with all of this? Let me assure you, there will be less stars as you go along through this process. For now, the stars are information. They are not a judgment. They are not anybody looking at you with shame. They do not mean that you're a failure. They are scientific data. That's it. They are how you feel about something, and now it is your opportunity to shift that. So, the first thing I want to say is that as we look through these stars, you are going to start to categorize things and decide whether these tasks that make you feel icky have to remain on your to-do list. So there are a couple of ways that they can remove themselves from your to-do list. So the first thing you get to ask yourself with each of those starred items is, can I release this completely? Like, do you really need to do this? Is this something that has to happen for your financial livelihood, your well-being, for someone else in your family? Do you have to do this thing? I bet there are 1 to 10 things on your list that you do not need to do to be the best version of yourself. So go through really quickly and allow yourself to release those items from your life. Maybe they'll come back another week. That's fine. For now, if it feels like I really don't need to do this week, cross it off. It feels good to cross things off of a list. So give yourself 2 minutes maximum to read through the starred items and see what you can release, cross off, get off of your list right now. Okay, now that you have released a couple of items, hopefully, you have the opportunity to see, is there anything that you can assign to someone else? So, for example, laundry. Laundry doesn't make everyone feel joy. If it does, more power to you. Ironing is the one task that I absolutely hate in life. So that's part of laundry, not part of my laundry, though. So let's say that, for example, laundry makes you feel icky. There's a star next to it. Maybe there's somebody else in your household who can do laundry. Maybe you can assign that task to your teenage son or your partner. Wouldn't it be nice to take that off of your plate? Because guess what? You don't have to do everything. If there are tasks like that, write them down on a separate piece of paper with the name of the person who is being assigned that task so that you can make sure you communicate to them that they need to do this task. And you are so grateful to them for doing that. You can also assign tasks to a paid professional. So let's stick with the example of laundry. Maybe you decide that your time is more valuable than the amount of time it takes to wash, fluff, and fold everything and then put everything away. And that all you want to do is put it in a bag, drop it off for someone, hand them some money, and have it be perfectly folded and ironed and then delivered back to your home so that you can put it away with joy and ease. Write that down on a separate piece of paper and assign it. You are also going to then put it in your calendar when you're going to drop off laundry, and if you have to pick it up, when you're going to pick it up, just so that you don't forget that step. It still goes in the calendar, but if you're assigning it to someone else, all you need to do is make sure that you tell them about it. So see what you can assign to someone else. And this might be hard for some of you, especially if you're used to being the person who does it all. I have been there. Um, this is a longer journey, and I'm happy to help with that. But for now, please, please, please find 2 to 5 things from your list that someone else can do. And um, trust me when I tell you that they will also feel empowered by being able to help you. So you're actually doing them a favor. So you are removing things from your list and you are assigning things to other people. You're going through the stars. The third thing is to shift your perspective. So, for example, last week I went to get a mammogram. This was definitely a star item. I didn't feel great about it. It felt icky. I was full of fear, uncertainty, lack of knowledge, all of the things, but it had to be done. And so I had to shift my perspective around it. Because if I put it in my calendar with that fear, it was going to bring more fear and make me really sticky about accomplishing it, which would take more energetic time and would not allow me the space to do the other things that bring me joy. So I shifted my perspective to say, I am getting a mammogram because this is how I maintain my best, healthy, vibrant self. So I shifted the narrative within myself, turned the star into something I could love, put it in my calendar with that energy. So if there's something that you're looking at, you're looking through all of these starred items, you're thinking, what can I just immediately cross off? It's definitely not happening this week. You're looking at what can I assign to someone else? Great, it's written on the separate list. You're looking at, can I shift my mindset around it? Okay, yes, great. If you cannot shift your mindset around it, but you know it has to get done, I suggest doing it anyway and telling yourself, I am doing this. It doesn't feel great, but it will manifest into something great. Uh, I know that's like some super hippie stuff. I get it. If you can't figure out a way to literally change the narrative and believe it, at least trust that you are so in alignment with your goals and your values and your desires that the things that still feel like they need to get done are for your own good in some way. And maybe they are there to continuously remind you that this is something that you are ready to completely release from your to-do list. And you just need a couple more smacks in the face before you're ready to do that. So, no judgment. Again, allow yourself to feel through your feelings as you go through the list, go through the stars, cross off the things that you can get rid of, assign the things that you can assign, shift your mindset around the rest of it, and put those things into your calendar for days 4 through 7 of the week, right? Because you've already done days 1 through 3. Now, if it's an appointment that has to happen on days 1 through 3, put it in there. But the rest of it, because it felt a little icky, put it to later in the week so that you can start your week with the things that bring you joy, that are just like easy. Now, before you hit pause and go do this, there is one final little nuanced step, and that is grouping like items. Like I said before, if you have 10 people who you need to follow up with, break that up into 2 half-hour chunks. I hate that word, but you know what that means. 2 half-hour blocks, put them in your calendar. Put in the notes, if you're using a digital calendar, the names of the 5 people who you're following up with. Keep like activities together. It requires less energy, less brain power. You get through them more quickly because you are in the same mindset. I don't suggest doing all 10 at the same time because you don't want to be doing any one task for more than half an hour. Now, if it's like 10 text messages and it's going to take you half an hour, great, do that. Sometimes I have a goal to reach out to 10 new people a day for my business. I give myself half an hour to do that. And I send out the messages and I get it done and I feel really accomplished. And then I have a little dance party. That's a reward. So now's your time to categorize things and put things together that make sense. If you have also gone through and you're familiar with my system of 3 main goals for the week and rewards and dopamine rushes, this is where you can categorize those things as well. If you don't know what I'm talking about, send me a message and ask me. We can talk about this sometime. It's a way to flesh out your list with more things that you love and less stars, and a really effective and efficient way to achieve your goals for the week. But for now, go through and address those stars, put things into your calendar, get things off of your to-do list, assign them to someone else, and then come back to me when you're done. Alrighty, you are done. You have a whole week scheduled for you, and you feel good about the things that are on your schedule because they are aligned with your purpose and your path. And all of the things that didn't feel great to start with now feel better or they're gone. Um, and here's one final note to this. Yeah, you spent all of this time scheduling. Hopefully, it didn't take you that long. Literally, this will take you half an hour once you get used to the system. But you spent this time scheduling. You still might not achieve everything in your schedule, and that's okay. At the end of the week, I would like you to take an inventory of the things that didn't get done. As you're building your schedule, your list next week, and I do this on Sundays, by the way, just because it's like finish the weekend, acknowledge all of the things that you did, write down the things that you get to do the following week, start the week fresh. So on Sunday, when you're looking through and you're like, wow, I did so much this week, I am freaking amazing. But you see, well, I didn't actually do the laundry because I didn't allow myself to assign it to someone else because I need to do everything. You're going to put it back on your list. And if it doesn't get done for 3 weeks in a row, that's telling you something. It's information. It's not judgment. It's always information. But allow yourself 3 weeks of something being in your schedule and not getting done before it's time to have a heart to heart with yourself and really ask, does this belong here? Do I remove it completely? Is there someone else who can do this task for me? Or do I need to seek help in shifting my mindset around this? All of those are totally valid and valuable options. And I want you to feel empowered to ask yourself those questions so that you fly through your week. You flow through your week with ease and efficiency and a system that is based on you, your purpose, and your desires. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope this video is helpful in guiding you through this process. And I would love if you wanted to share with me something that you removed from your list this week, something that you empowered yourself to say, you know what, I really don't need to do this. I took it away because that is a great feeling.